Goku landing in Mount Paozu, where he was met by Grandpa Gohan, drastically changed the story for Dragon Ball as we know, and it shaped Goku into what we know of today through Grandpa Gohan's teachings and helping Goku mature. But what if the story was different? What if in this time, Goku's space pod does not land in Mount Paozu, and he was never picked up by Grandpa Gohan? What if Goku landed near Capsule Corp? So, the story would still go on forward with Bardock sacrificing himself, battling the mighty Frieza. Though Bardock did everything he could, he cannot be a match for Frieza's power. His goal wasn't to win, it was to distract Frieza, so Goku can carry out his destiny that he has foresaw, as he saw that his son will one day fight Frieza and defeat him. Alongside with him, planet Vegeta was destroyed, leaving only a handful of Saiyans left in the entire universe. Goku's space pod would land on Earth, but this time, destiny has changed. It would not land in Mount Paozu, where an old master would find him. This time, he lands near Capsule Corp. Now, realistically, Capsule Corp would find out there's a space pod and there's an alien inside of it. Goku would realistically be in one of Capsule Corp's scientific studies under Bulma's father. He would do a full checkup on the boy, and he sees that his DNA is very similar to that of humans, so he is safe to be around, though there is some different genetic makeups, such as the fact that he's more durable, he has a tail, and some more things. So he decides to take Goku into his family, as, mind you, his wife, Bulma's mother, she, of course, loves and thinks that he is so adorable. So she decides to take him pretty much as their own son in a way, and her name is Panchi as well. So they decide to raise Goku as their own family, and Goku would also be raised around Bulma. Now Bulma is a few years older than Goku, so we're going to do a little time skip. Now, Bulma's father is, of course, always interested in Goku, so he does treat Goku like a normal boy most of the time, but he does experiment on Goku from time to time, seeing if there's any changes, and what does his tail tie to, as, mind you, we've not seen Goku transform yet. So, Goku was very rambunctious and very wild as a young boy. He was very aggressive. Until one day, while in the lab, Goku stumbled upon crawling around. Unbeknownst to Bulma's father, a shelf would then collapse with a heavy wrench on the top of it, and it would hit Goku on the back of the head. Now Goku would split his head open, and after some nursing, he was back to health again and Goku was okay. But because of that, Goku's attitude quickly changed, and he assumed it's because of the head injury, but Goku's attitude is okay, and he's very sweet and caring. And it seems like that nature that I guess maybe his original clan came from is different. Now also, he would be completely deciphering the entire space pod, learning the language. He of course finds the Scouter and the Saiyan armor, making leaps and bounds in his technology. He does have communications, and he can hear it secretly, as he hears that there is more people than just Goku out there in the universe. So he decides to keep that hidden for the time being. So while Goku grows up, he has a great childhood. You see, Goku would also be better educated. As you know, Goku grew up on Mount Paozu pretty much by himself when Grandpa Gohan died. He had basic understanding, but he was kind of a farm boy. He didn't really have that much knowledge. He didn't even know what a woman looked like. And he could barely count with his fingers, so Goku was not the sharpest person around. But I do think that Goku being around Bulma's father more, and Panchi, and Bulma, Goku would have a much better teaching. Goku would, over time, he would actually go to school with Bulma. Now, some people in this what if, they want Goku and Bulma to get together. Realistically, that's a little weird. And the reason why I say that is because although they are not related, Goku was adopted into their family. So his name is still Goku for story, but his last name is still Goku Briefs. So it wouldn't make a lot of sense for him to get with Bulma. That's like some Step Brothers stuff, then we're not going to do that. So sorry, Bulma Goku fans, but no, Goku will find somebody else. But Goku and Bulma are literally brothers and sisters. So it's good for Goku to have somebody, have a big sister, and Bulma is not as lonely because she has a little brother, and they get along very well. Although Bulma is very adept and naturally very intelligent, Goku naturally likes to fight. He's way more roughhousing. Bulma's, a bit of a preppy girl, does her thing. Goku's the same kid who would run inside covered in mud everywhere because he was busy fighting an octopus outside or something. Because he's a Saiyan. No matter what, he's always a Saiyan. And he always likes to fight and train and do some cool stuff, because that's just naturally how he is. It's nature over nurture. So he does have a better understanding of things, as he is still taught very well by Panchi and Bulma's father. He still goes to school, and Goku growing up in school with Bulma, Goku naturally is very strong still. As, mind you, Goku did some training with Grandpa Gohan, but even though as a young boy, he is still incredibly powerful, and it would take certain training that Bulma's father would help him with to kind of help Goku control himself. He might even put Goku in martial arts school, where Goku can learn how to control his strength better, and that would make a lot of sense. But of course, Goku completely outwits a lot of the martial artists around the area, because he's just that naturally gifted. So we are going to cut forward to when Goku's 12 and Bulma is 16. Bulma is in high school currently, but she's on summer vacation. Now Goku is still in school, but Bulma decides, as they're both on summer vacation, to go search for the Dragon Balls. And so she decides to bring Goku along after Goku begs her over and over to go with her. And so Bulma would agree. And besides, she'll feel safer because Goku is super strong. He can always protect her if something really bad happens. So the two would then start their journey, and they would then head and find a couple Dragon Balls. We would cut forward to Mount Paozu, where Grandpa Gohan is still alive in this story, because he was never killed by Goku as a great ape. So they would arrive, and they would meet Grandpa Gohan. Now Grandpa Gohan can sense the incredible power that Goku does possess, and the potential that he could reach. He, of course, is more than willing to give them the Dragon Ball. Now, he does offer them to stay for a couple of days to rest up, as it was a long journey. He even offers to teach Goku a couple of things. Now, of course, Goku would never turn down a couple of days of training, so he decides to. And Bulma's okay with this, as she needs to gather up her data and do her normal thing, and prepare to go search for the Dragon Balls. Now, Goku thinks that Bulma fighting the Dragon Balls, as he would soon find out it's because for a perfect boyfriend. Goku thinks that's completely gross, and that's also kind of stupid. He said that if you have the Dragon Balls that could do any wish, right? She says, yeah. He says, why don't you do it to help the planet or something? You know, solve world hunger, maybe, you know, find cures for illnesses or something, not wish for a boyfriend. And Bulma would probably bunk her on the head, and she has, I have my reasons. And so, either way, Goku would then spend the next couple of days training with Grandpa Gohan. This is where the story would take place a little bit differently. As Goku, after a couple of days, there's the full moon. Goku would, of course, learn a couple of good things from Grandpa Gohan. He explains that the world is a lot bigger than they imagine. He explains that, Goku, you have such extraordinary power within you. There is someone who I do know who can keep up with you, and is even stronger than I am. And they can train you correctly. And he says his name is Master Roshi, and he kind of gave a rough description of where he is. Goku really wants to go, but Bulma tells him, no, Goku, it's not safe. You know, I have to keep you around and keep you safe. This is when Goku, during the nighttime, would look at the moon for the first time. Now, realistically, Goku's father maybe knew that Goku, if he looked at blood waves, his DNA expands and something happens, so he keeps Goku from looking. But since he's not there, Goku looks at the moon and something happens. Goku transforms into a great ape. Now his power was extraordinary, and Bulma is terrified, as Gohan would start fighting this great ape Goku, but he's no match for the great ape's raw power. He would even charge up his own full power Kamehameha and hit the great ape, knocking him over, but he's running out of power, and he's on near death's door because he used all of his energy. Bulma would then jump in front of Grandpa Gohan and tell Goku to come back to her. You know, hey Goku, it's your big sister, come back to me. Goku would see this, and he would start to calm down, and now he's relaxed, and he would then revert back to normal once when the moon goes away. Goku would then pass out, as Bulma was completely shocked at what just happened. It really rattled her that her little brother just transformed into a giant gorilla, so she's a little bit scared. And so she says, I don't know what to do with him. And she said that, like, if I bring him back to my father, he might, you know, do something to go. I don't know what to do. And he says, well, for the time being, there is somebody who can handle that power if it ever happens again. And Grandpa Gohan is alive in this timeline because Great Goku never killed him. He would explain to go find Master Roshi, and he tells Bulma where he is. Bulma would then take Goku, and with the help of the turtle would then carry them all the way to Roshi's island. Now, of course, Roshi's happy to see a woman there, but Bulma would then explain that they come from where Grandpa Gohan was. She explains about Goku, and she explains what happened. Now Roshi did sense a huge power spike far away, but he didn't really think about it too much. And he says that's where that power came from. And he says, to be honest, my job is to protect the planet alongside with some other people. He's referring to Kami and Korn. He explains that if this power can somehow be controlled, he'll be safe here. I promise you. I will keep the boy safe and make sure that he will be trained properly to control that power. He says that if he loses control, do you think it's really safe bringing him back to your Capsule Corp in the biggest city in the world? He says if he transformed into that giant ape monster again that you said that he did, he could kill millions of people. And he says it's safer to keep him here on my island where we are thousands of miles away from any known civilization. And so Bulma would then agree, and so she decides to leave him there. So this would change up the story a little bit because they never went after Oolong and the terrible Oolong when they got the 6-star Dragon Ball. Now you can maybe argue that during their journey before they met Grandpa Gohan, maybe they did stop Oolong and, you know, maybe they did fight Yamcha and them. I don't think that would happen though. So the Dragon Balls are still out there for the time being. You could even argue that Bulma actually goes on her own to go find the Dragon Balls without Goku. And maybe Grandpa Gohan decides to go with her. So Goku is stuck on the island. Grandpa Gohan feels like he owes her because of Bulma's dreams are pretty much crushed. And he says, you know, I'll go with you instead of Goku would. And in turn, that's how we can do this. As he feels like he owes Bulma because it is kind of his fault that Goku looked at the moon. So fair enough. So instead of it being Goku with Bulma, it is actually Grandpa Gohan helping Bulma. So Grandpa Gohan would actually beat Yamcha, and they would also defeat Terrible Oolong. Now, Goku by this point has awoken, of course, and Roshi tells him what happened, and he says that I will train you until your sister comes back. He says when she comes back, you can go back home. But he tells Goku that, listen, you nearly killed somebody because when you looked at the full moon, you transformed into a huge monster that you cannot control. He would tell him that from now on, do not look at the full moon, Goku. Do you understand? If you do that, you will transform into a monster and hurt people. And Goku understands this, so Goku knows not to look at the moon. So Goku would meet his friends again, though, when Master Roshi was needed. You see, this is only between a couple of days. When Bulma and Grandpa Gohan were doing their adventure with Oolong, Yamcha, and all them, Roshi and Goku would still arrive to take out the flames on the Frying Pan Mountain. Roshi would showcase his Kamehameha and destroy the entire mountain and castle. They do find the 7-star Dragon Ball, though. And so this is when Goku would get back with Bulma again for the time being and follow along a journey. Roshi explains that once we gather the Dragon Balls and finish this journey, you need to come train with me, and Goku understands this. Goku would help defeat the Boss Rabbit and his gang, sending them to the moon. Now, how strong is Goku in this scenario? Well, Goku is actually slightly stronger than the original. Why is this? Well, it's because Goku had much better technology to train with. You see, Bulma's father knew that Goku was a natural fighter. Goku's already had martial arts school that he's gone to, and he also has the best food, best training equipment in the world to help him get stronger. So yes, Goku has gotten stronger. And also, his Zenkai ability was most likely used on him. You see, Bulma's father realized that Goku, technically a son, realizes that whenever he's hurt, he will get stronger. He saw this from his cells. So while Goku was training, the bots that he used, he turned them up to dial 10. And it severely wounded Goku, which everyone was mad about, but he says, watch this though. As when Goku fully recovered, which didn't take too long, Saiyans naturally do heal faster, he was double the strength. And he says, you see this? They adapt to whatever they're being hurt by. So yes, Goku did get a little Zenkai. Now, Goku's power level is not insanely high. It's going to be around 25 to 30. Now that is much higher than his power level of 10 that he originally had when he met Bulma. So that is a pretty little jump. So, Mai and Shu would originally steal the Dragon Balls from the gang, and that is when Pilaf would still summon Shenron, and Oolong would still make his dirty wish. That would still happen. Because it wouldn't make sense for Grandpa Gohan to kill Oolong, that doesn't make any sense. Now, in the original, Goku did look at the moon and turn into a great ape. I don't think that would happen in this scenario. With Goku being stronger than the original, he could break out. We could even see him mimicking Roshi's Kamehameha for the first time, and although he messes up maybe once or twice, he was actually able to get it concentrated enough that he could blow a hole through the wall, and they were able to escape and defeat Pilaf. And so, Goku decides to leave Bulma, and he says, I'm going to go train with Roshi for a little while, Now, Bulma's mother, Panchi, technically was against this. She doesn't think that her son-in-law should be there, but Bulma's father says, no, this is better for him, and he explains that although he's not going to be a science genius like Bulma, he understands this. When he comes back, he does have to do some more studying, but for the time being, this is better for him. He says that Goku is not a normal person. That's his life, because he knows a lot about the Saiyans. He's deciphered every data code in that space pod to teach about the Saiyans' history and lore. He would tell Panchi that, listen, our son, when he came from this planet Vegeta that they called, they are warriors. They are fighters. That is their entire system. Goku is naturally bred to be a fighter. This is where he belongs. Doing that would just hurt him. And he says, let him grow, adapt his power, and he could become something incredible. Bulma has her gifts as well. She will surpass me in terms of knowledge one day. Goku has his own natural gifts where he can use that strength to change the world for good. And he said both brother and sister working together, they will be unstoppable. He said let them go on their own journey. So he allows this to happen. So Goku would spend the next 7 months training with Roshi and a new student, Krillin. And so, under the tough training of Master Roshi, they would then spend the next 7 months of training. It was intense, but Goku was really enjoying it. Roshi would teach Goku everything that he knew. Not everything. Goku will learn hundreds of different styles of martial arts. Krillin struggled to keep up because Goku's naturally a bit stronger than the original, but he does his best. And Krillin's a really good sparring partner, and he becomes a really good friend for Goku, becoming almost brothers in arms. And so Roshi would increase the shells in their backs to 40 kg to increase the results of their training. Now Goku's goal is to participate in the 21st World Martial Arts Tournament, where Panchi and Bulma's father and Bulma herself would go, because this is Goku's big dream, is to win the tournament. Roshi would take the alias under Jackie Chun to challenge Goku, because Roshi knows Goku, without Roshi being there, can win the entire thing. Not much of an effort. Krillin's the only one who could give him a pretty solid fight. And so the final fight would be Goku versus Jackie Chun. Now Goku is more powerful than the original because he naturally was stronger before he even started training. So this means that Goku would have a much better shot against Master Roshi. Goku would not turn into a great ape in this scenario because he knows better than to look at the moon. This means that Roshi never blows up the moon and needed to use a lot of power. But for fun purposes, we're going to say that Goku actually does win. Because Goku's more powerful, he was actually able to beat Master Roshi, knocking him out of the ring, and Goku would then eat all the earnings away anyway. And it'll be a funny joke because Goku's father, aka Mr. Breeps, would explain that now he knows where all of his fortune has went. It's probably to Goku's stomach. And so this is when the Red Ribbon Army saga would still take place. As Goku's father knows about the Red Ribbon Army, he's read about them before, he thinks that they are very dangerous. But Goku would then tell Bulma and them that he has to stop them. If they get the Dragon Balls, they could rule the whole world. So Goku would begin his battle with them. And Bulma would of course do everything in her power to help her little brother. And so Goku would then defeat Colonial Silver after they already attained the 6 and 5-star Dragon Balls. And he would end up in Jingle Village, where he would then destroy and take down the White Corporate Muscle Tower. Now one thing to note is Goku being more powerful than the original by a landslide, he can take down the Red Ribbon Army much faster. So Goku would still repair the broken Dragon Radar, and he would fight General Blue. Now, originally, Goku was struggling to beat him, and General Blue actually won. But this time, Goku would actually defeat him on his own, not needed to go to Penguin Village, where Rally's at. Now, Mercenary Tao would be the biggest problem. He's absurdly strong. His power was in the 70s and 80s. But Goku was stronger here. Goku would be able to fight him on his own and actually beat him in their matchup. And that's so how we're going to get, Mercenary Tao in his mechanical form. Goku would then see Korn's tower, where he begins to climb up, where he would start training for a couple of days under Korn, where he would obtain the sacred water. Goku, now stronger than ever, would defeat everyone in his path. He would destroy the entire Red Ribbon Army, and Goku was still battle in Fortune Teller Baba's battle arena, but now Grandpa Gohan's not in that one, so he would pretty much defeat everybody. And so Goku would then go back to Capsule Corp as it's 3 years of peace. Goku now has more determination than ever. He knows how to train. And so Bulma's father has an idea. He then would take Goku to a side of Capsule Corp and show him a room. And he says that, I've studied your species, Goku, and I understand that your natural home world, your gravity is 10 times more than our planet's gravity. He says that, so naturally, you are not even at your full potential yet. Natural power. He says this room is still in the early phases, but I've been able to adapt it to where now you can train in here and adapt your body to your natural state with how it should have been in your home world. He explains that this gravity machine, or gravity room for short, can go up to 10 times gravity. And so Goku then turns it on and he nearly collapses. It feels like he's made of lead, like there's a whole car on top of him. And so Goku would then spend the next 3 years training in this gravity. Now that is absurd if you guys think about it, because Goku's power level is going to be so busted, because he's going to be 16 years old, not fully mature yet, and he's already going to be stronger than he was when he trained at King Kai's. Because here's one thing to note. After 2 months of training at King Kai, he got 18.8 times stronger because he naturally adapted to the 10 times gravity. This makes sense because Saiyans such as Bardock and all them, they don't really train much, but Bardock's power level was around 10,000 or so. Goku's power level was around 8,000. And this makes sense because of the 10 times gravity. It really unlocked his natural Saiyan potential because that's their natural habitat that they're in. Goku was weaker because he was on Earth. So imagine a Goku training in 10 times gravity, getting used to it within a couple of months, and on top of the fact that he continues training for 3 years. That is absurd. And he's already stronger than his original self. So let's enough talk. Power levels. Well, Goku, before he stepped in the 10 times gravity, back when he was around 12 or so, right after he defeated the Red Ribbon Army, his power level was around 140, making him stronger than Roshi. Roshi did not use his buff form in this scenario when he fought Goku because he knew that it would be too much and drain his power. So, Goku got 18.8 times stronger in the original. For fun purposes, we're going to say here that Goku's power level went even higher. So after 3 years, instead of 18.8, we're going to bump it up to at least 30 times. So Goku got 30 times stronger in this short span of time. But you have to take in one thing though. What about the divine water that he also drank? And on top of the fact that he can also increase the gravity as time goes on. So that would increase his power to even tenfold that. So for fun purposes, we're going to say that Goku's power level, as of right now, as a 16-year-old, he hasn't reached his full potential yet because he's not in his adult body yet. He's not over 18. Goku's current power level is over 12,000. And that's lowballing him. So Goku's power level is at 12,000 and he's only 16. So he hasn't reached his peak yet. And he hasn't fully mastered ki control yet either, because of Kami and Popo teaching him. Goku learned a lot of power since then. So Goku's power level being over 12,000, he is absurdly strong, the most powerful character in the show for a little while. As Goku would still arrive at the 22nd World Martial Arts Tournament. Now, Bulma already knew that Goku was going to win. Her brother was the most powerful man on the planet. And she would still get with Yamcha and have a little romance here and there. And Goku was okay with that because he thinks that Yamcha's a pretty cool guy. He doesn't really have any problems with that. And would Goku also have met Chi-Chi and have a little romance? I mean, potentially. But Goku's not an idiot, though. He never promised to marry her. Because Chi-Chi might have been joking about it. Goku says, oh, well, I don't want to marry yet. I mean, I'm still really young. And he says, well, maybe in the future, maybe. But I got to get to know you first. Because Goku's not an idiot like before, where he promised her thinking it was some kind of food. So that wouldn't have happened. So their relationship would actually be more realistic if it even did happen and not a forced one. So I don't think that would be happening. So Goku in the 22nd World Martial Arts Tournament would absolutely dominate everybody in his path. No one can match him. He also has his tail still, so he's still OP. Tien Shenhan was the only powerful one, but Goku would knock him out within a single punch, not even trying. Even though Tien Shenhan is absurdly strong, Goku's a whole other level. Krillin would still be killed by Tambourine. And Demi King Piccolo appears. This is where we can take a really fun turn in the story. When Krillin was killed by Tambourine, Goku had so much rage within him that when he flies over and he kills Tambourine and Demon King Piccolo is there, the images flashing of Krillin begging for mercy flash through Goku's head. One difference here, Goku knows how strong he is, and the fact that someone's so weak killed his best friend, and Goku was not strong enough to stop it, really gets in his head. Goku better understands his emotions, and I really think that would start cementing in him, where Goku is so furious, we would see fall Super Saiyan. Only for a little bit, maybe like 10 seconds, where his power would spike up drastically, jumping at least 25 times. His power level shoots up to 300,000, and he flies right through Demon King Piccolo with a single strike before he reverts back to normal and falls unconscious. Demon King Piccolo would spit out an egg where he would still self-explode and die. But Piccolo's still alive, that means Kami's still alive and the Dragon Balls are still here. Now, Kami would have sensed the massive power that Goku just released, and so he decides to take Goku under his wing. He would tell Goku and them, especially Bulma, to let his father know that this power that he just shown, he needs to learn how to control it, and he says, give me a couple of years, and Goku will return. Bulma would agree to this and find out this is what he needs to do, so Goku would then begin his training for the next 3 years. So, 3 years have passed. The 23rd World Martial Arts Tournament. Now, Piccolo Jr. is also doing his normal training like before, and he knows on how strong Goku is, so he is training harder than the original to try and surpass him, pushing his limits further than ever. Now, Goku, during the 3 years, would he be able to last fully in the Hyperbolic Time Chamber? Absolutely. Because of the fact that the gravity was one of the problems, the biggest thing is also the temperature and the infinite void, but with Goku's better mental state, and on top of the fact that he's stronger, and 10 times gravity doesn't really even affect him much anymore, he barely really feels it, I definitely think he can survive the full year. So he trains for the full year in the Hyperbolic Time Chamber, and with that, he technically has 4 years of training. Now, during this, he would learn how to control that power that he felt while he was training, that rage, and using it. Goku is a genius when it comes to training. Goku's power is at new heights that we've never seen before. So, when Goku does arrive for the 23rd World Martial Arts Tournament, Goku of course had weighted clothing on, but he was suppressing his power. Now, Goku's power when he was suppressing was around 12,000. He was suppressing his power, not even showing a hint of it. Now, Piccolo is a lot more way more powerful than the original. So, Goku, the only threat would be Piccolo. He would still fight Tien and defeat Tien with no issue, and etc. It would be a landslide victory. Piccolo would easily beat Krillin and the others. The main fight was, of course, Goku and Piccolo. Now, Chi-Chi would actually still be there, and she would still battle Goku. Goku would, of course, win, and she was just amazed how strong Goku was. She asked Goku that maybe after the tournament they can go on a date or something, and Goku's actually okay with that, because, I mean, she's strong and pretty. Goku likes strong, pretty women. That's how Saiyans are. Why wouldn't he say yes? So they'll go on a date afterwards. And Bulma's okay with that. She thinks that Chi-Chi is a good woman. But either way, Goku would battle the great Demon King Piccolo, Piccolo Jr. So, unfortunately for Piccolo Jr., his new power level is going to be 1,000. Even if it's 1,000, Goku would showcase just how strong he really is. Goku would remove his weighted clothing, and he would then go to full power. At his full power, he was holding back immensely. His power level is well over 100,000 plus, and that's being nice. Goku's, because if that's at least 10-folding his power level would shoot past 100,000, and he's not stopping. He powers up again. 200,000, 300,000, 400,000, 500,000 is Goku's power level, and he's absurdly OP. Piccolo stands no chance. He literally just gives up. He doesn't even try because he knows that he's no match, and Piccolo just dips out. He does not want that. He quits. Goku's the winner, and things are peaceful. He knows that Piccolo knows he cannot defeat Goku. There is no way. He has to come back another time because there ain't no way. And so Kami's mad, but Goku explains that even if he would have had to fight Piccolo, he wouldn't have killed him because if Piccolo dies, then Kami dies as well. That means that there's no Dragon Balls. And so Goku will start going on dates with Chi-Chi, and they will get married pretty fast. So, sorry fans, but it makes sense. Goku getting with Bulma doesn't make any sense at all. He's adopted into Bulma's family. They're brother and sister. It doesn't make any sense. But Goku and Chi-Chi does make sense. It's more of a healthy relationship. They would get married probably within about a year because they get along so well. Now, Chi-Chi is more understanding of Goku's talents, and Goku would not be really much of a father that runs to get Saiyan milk. he understands that he needs to make an income, and he's literally a part of the richest family in the entire world. So Chi-Chi's not too worried about that. Goku can live off of their funds, no problem. Goku might even open up his own martial arts school where he would teach people. That makes a lot of sense for Goku's character, and he's making tons of money. He's the winner of the last couple martial arts tournament. He is the champion of the world. So people would scatter all around just to see Goku. Goku was also the hero of the world. Now, Goku doesn't really care for all that, but he was able to beat the Great Demon King and his reincarnation. Goku was seen like a Mr. Satan figure. But now Goku's not basking in the fame, but he is seen as a hero of the planet. And the whole world sees it because Goku's so popular. Bulma would then start taking over the company as Bulma's father retires, and things are very peaceful. They would still have Gohan between Goku and Chi-Chi, and Bulma's still with Yamcha, but their relationship's a bit rocky. And so 5 years would then pass. Goku would most likely still live at Capsule Corp, where Bulma and everyone else is at. He probably had one of his own houses. They're so big anyway. And people are happy. Gohan, I feel like Goku might still name him Gohan just for simplicity. Maybe naming him after Goku's first master that he got, which was Grandpa Gohan. And yeah, things are very peaceful. Gohan is a very good boy. He's very smart. Pretty much spoiled to a degree because of how rich they are. Chi-Chi's not attacking Goku all the time, and she's fine with him training because they have so much money, and she's not worried about it. She doesn't really like Gohan training, but Goku does sneak Gohan off to train a little bit. And things are peaceful. Now, Raditz would still land, and he would still have issues because he sees that planet Earth is perfectly normal. His brother has failed on his mission. And so Raditz would begin looking around as he would then leave to go to his brother's location. Now, one difference here is Raditz wouldn't even make it to Roshi's island. Why is this? Because of Piccolo. You see, Piccolo has not been slouching off for 5 years. Goku's a motivation for him, and he's been training harder than ever. His power level was already 1,000 even during the 23rd World Martial Arts Tournament. Goku, Sister Bulma, Chi-Chi, and everyone else is actually at Roshi's island where they're all meeting up and hanging out for the day as Gohan and them is playing with the turtle. Raditz wouldn't even get close because Piccolo stopped him like the original, and this time around Raditz wouldn't scan his power level, seeing a power level 1,000. That's impressive for a Namekian, but Piccolo knows that Raditz is a threat to him trying to conquer the world. Raditz would not make it. Now, Goku did sense that there was a power nearby, but he also senses Piccolo's power is there, so for the time being, he kind of keeps quiet about it, as they're so far away that the other Z Fighters don't sense it yet. Goku can because of how strong he is, but he keeps a very sharp eye on it, and if something happens, he would fly immediately over there and get there within a couple of minutes. So Piccolo would then remove his weighted clothing and begin powering up. Raditz's Stouter shoots up past 2,000, and Piccolo would begin battling Raditz. Raditz has no chance against this version of Piccolo, as his power level shooting past 2,000-3,000. He's nearly as strong as Nappa. Raditz has no chance and he even begs for mercy. But this is Piccolo we're talking about here. He doesn't know what mercy means. Piccolo would completely annihilate Raditz and probably kill him, and Piccolo says that's a job done. But Vegeta and Nappa heard what happened, the fact there's a Namekian and a Saiyan that strong. They decide to beeline it and start heading towards Earth. Now, Piccolo, would he hear about it through Raditz's Scouter? Maybe. You can maybe argue that he grabs Raditz's Scouter because he hears something. Piccolo does have the best hearing in the universe. He hears Vegeta and Nappa explaining that they will be arriving in Earth within a year, and the comms then shut off. So Piccolo knows that something is coming. This is when Piccolo arrives at Master Roshi's island, and everyone was in a stance. Goku was calm because he knows that Piccolo's not there to fight. He can sense his intentions. Goku then tells Piccolo he did a good job against whoever that evil guy was. I could sense his power. And he says, you got a lot stronger, Piccolo. Piccolo explains that he's not here to chit-chat and have a picnic. He explains that that man that arrived there, he's a Saiyan like you were. This would surprise Goku. And he said that, listen, there are 2 more of these Saiyans, apparently, that are even more powerful than this guy, arriving to Earth within a year. Just thought I'd let you know. And he said that, so I don't know exactly the day, but just be on the lookout within about a year's time. He then says a good riddance, and then he flies off on his own. So the Z Fighters will begin their training. Goku is very confident that he can manage his own, but just to be safe, Chi-Chi would then go back, as he tells Chi-Chi that he also wants to train Gohan. He explains that Gohan can of course study Chi-Chi, that's okay. But understand this, what if something happens to him? What if Gohan needs to defend himself? And he says that this makes sense for Gohan to start learning. And so Goku would start training Gohan. Goku being a much better teacher, Gohan would have a much better teaching and not be abused like how Piccolo did him. So Gohan's power level would be very high. Gohan has a lot of natural potential, and Goku can see that within Gohan. And Gohan does still study here and there to make Chi-Chi happy. And Chi-Chi's more understanding because Bulma's also there. And mind you, Bulma is family. She's Goku's big sister. Bulma would also talk to Chi-Chi a lot, and she would really change Chi-Chi's mindset, explain that, listen, no matter what, Chi-Chi, Gohan is Goku's son. Goku is a Saiyan. Gohan is at least half a Saiyan. He's gonna want to fight. He says he might be more gentle, but still, this is best for everybody. He still gets his education. I'll even teach him if you want, because it's Auntie Bulma. And in turn, it's good for Gohan to learn how to defend himself against people one day. You can't protect him forever. And Chi-Chi understands, and she's just worried, but Bulma says, don't worry, Goku has always stood up to anybody that always stood in their way. And he said that these Saiyan guys who are arriving will be the same. And she says, everything will work out. And that is it for part 1, you guys. Thank you all for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know what you guys think down below. I really do appreciate all the support. You guys are the best. If you made it this far, do #DragonForce. And make sure to like the video and support it. And I'll talk to you on the next one. Peace.